got like a sharp pain in my back.
Yeah.
Not knowing the degree of the injury, I kept working out, training for a couple of weeks, and came to the point where it was just,
brutal.
it got real bad.
Yeah. Your back injury was that way. Running the business was that way. Like you just seemed to be like, okay, I'm going to go this direction and I'm just going to go all in on learning.
I was not ready by any means, but it was in the back of my mind where it's like, this could be a possibility.
Today's guest is Remi Sovran, founder of Ambassador Fitness and Performance, where he helps busy adults, especially those 45 to 65, eliminate lower back pain and take control of their health. Remi's journey started with a severe back injury that left him dealing with chronic pain and depression. When traditional care fell short, he rebuilt himself from the ground up, using his background in human kinetics to fully recover and turn that experience into his life's mission. With a master's in exercise physiology and experience working with elite athletes like the Toronto Raptors and Windsor Spitfires, Remi now brings that same level of expertise to everyday people. His results-driven, time-efficient approach to helping clients move better, feel stronger, and live pain-free. Welcome back to another episode of Cracking the Success Vault with Spectre Group. Today we're joined by Remi Sovran, owner at Ambassador Fitness. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you, Sean. I'm very happy to be here. This is exciting.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun conversation. I mean, I'm a big athlete person. I grew up playing professional sports. I actually have some low back pain. So we're going to get into some stuff. So that's kind of interesting. I read a little bit about your bio earlier. We met a few weeks ago. But before we get into like how you built your business and what that injury was like and all that kind of stuff, why don't you take us back to sort of where you started, where you were born, where you grew up, and what you did before you got into sort of the health and fitness area.
Sounds good. Yeah. So I'm from Windsor, Ontario. Grew up here, grade school, high school, did my whole university through here in Windsor. So I come from a hockey background. So playing hockey growing up, played travel hockey, AAA, played a year of junior C, Kingsville Comets back when they were around.
Cool.
And then from that, got into my undergrad. So after high school, I wanted to kind of get into physio. That was kind of like my intention, but I went into HK, did my whole HK degree. And then from that, physio school didn't really work out. Applied to a couple places, just very competitive. So I decided to just to upgrade myself, do my master's through HK. So I ended up doing a full internship and then research. So it kind of works kind of funny at Windsor, where it's like when you do your master's in HK, you have like two routes to go down. One, you can do like an internship, or one, you can do your thesis to get your master's. I ended up doing both. So I ended up having an internship with the Toronto Raptors.
Cool.
So that was a pretty cool experience where I moved to Toronto, worked with them kind of as like a strength and conditioning intern. And sorry, I might be jumping a little ahead of here,
It's
but
all good.
before that, I was interning as well with the Windsor Spitfires.
Cool.
For kind of 2 summers roughly under Joey Garland there. So that's where I kind of got into training, learning a little bit more about athletic therapy and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that kind of led into the Raptors thing. Finished that that internship. It was one of the best experiences I've had. Came back to Windsor and then finished up my coursework, did a whole research project, got that published. And then all from that kind of got into some training afterwards.
Yeah. And so when did you do all of the master's thesis working for the Raptors? How long ago was that?
So we're going back to 2015, 2016.
Okay.
Or sorry. Yeah. 2015, 2016 is when I had when I moved to Toronto. So I just got into the master's program, and right away off the bat, I had landed this internship. So I went to Toronto, was interviewed for the position, and then I was notified the next day that I got it. So I'd have to move to Toronto. So I moved from Windsor to Toronto. Luckily, I was able to get kind of a course credit from it all. So living there with family, and then working with the team pretty much every day, learning from them. And then I moved back. So after that was done, and so I moved 2016 back to Windsor to kind of finish up my coursework. And then about 2017 is when I started the research. So it was like a 7-week training study we did around we were looking at a minute of work. So
A minute of work.
yes.
Okay.
So we were trying to look at, and there's been research that's been done previously, looking at the least amount or minimal amount of time that one is required to improve VO2 max.
Okay.
So like your maximal oxygen output, like more cardiorespiratory fitness. So there's been different protocols and one. I won't get into too much detail on that, but we were just looking to see if we could add a weighted vest to people doing stair sprints 3 times a week. Literally, they would be sprinting for a minute total, 20-second intervals. So they were just sprinting upstairs, 15-second intervals with 90 seconds rest, 4 times. Yep, for a minute to total, 3 times a week. One group had a weighted vest, one didn't. So the interesting thing is after the 7 weeks, both groups improved.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a significant difference.
Huh.
So the group that had the vest, they didn't have any further benefit.
It's interesting because I think most people when they're like working out, and I mean, I come from a huge, I mean, I was a competitive swimmer, swam on Canada's national team, had a full ride scholarship in the US. Like I worked out in the pool 10, 12 times a week, plus weights, plus cardio, plus. And everybody has this like weird mental, I'm going to say blockage that the more weight you do or the more you can lift, the better off you're going to be. And I have always found that that's not always been the case. Obviously, it's going to depend upon the event that you're doing or what you're training for or whatnot. But in this instance, you would probably think that if I had a weighted vest on and I'm working harder because I might improve more. But you're saying that's not the case.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's exactly what we found. And the one thing that, I mean, we couldn't kind of say this, but you can almost argue that sometimes, but just by adding the weight, there could be putting them at a higher risk of injury.
Sure.
Now, you could argue that the weight wasn't enough. We didn't have enough weight on them,
Sure.
but it was 10 and 20% of their body weight, like a progressive overload. Or that maybe the intervals weren't long, or if those kind of variables were different.
Some variables, sure.
Right. So, but the point being is that, weight itself may not be, it's, just by adding a progressive overload to something like sprinting, it's not necessarily going to improve your VO2 max when both are at all out intensities.
Right.
For your cardiorespiratory fitness. Now, we did measure other variables like lower body power and body composition. Like body composition, there wasn't any changes either group. So, and there's more variables with nutrition and that on that end. But with respect to lower body strength, I mean, both groups again improved. There was a little bit of more of a tendency in the weighted vest group that seemed like there was a trend towards them having more improvements. So when you talk about strength power, that's where maybe the weight can, the overload. Yeah. So it all really depends, it depends on context, but, you see sometimes people maybe running or with a weighted vest or walking, it's not necessarily going to maybe have the best, the intended benefits that they may think and could actually maybe do more harm than good in terms of, at the same time, you can argue like their gait, it could affect the way they run. And whatnot. So
who knows? Injuries, stress fractures, like just anything, right?
Correct.
So what made you want to get into the HK sports world in the first place? Obviously, I have found when I talk to many athletes that come from a competitive background, most of the time they either wanted to do HK, they wanted to be a doctor, they wanted to do something in that health field because they grew up that way and maybe they had their own injury. But as you were growing up, was HK always the thing that you wanted to do? Was human kinetics?
HK, well, it was kind of like the starting program that I wanted to get into because, and I alluded to earlier, like I wanted to get into physio. Now, I also wanted to do sports performance and training. So it was like I wanted to do both to a degree. Like if I could run like my own practice with respect to maybe physio and have like athletic training, that was kind of always what I was most interested in. Okay. So HK was kind of a good introduction to everything, learning about the human body, exercise science. And, I had an introduction, I know in high school, there's exercise science course. And a lot of my friends went into the program as well, just being local with Windsor. But the that's kind of a lot where the interest in, obviously having a hockey background, athletic background.
Yeah.
That's where that kind of led into, and my interest, at least going into HK.
Yeah.
So then the intention was to then go do, say, masters in physio, right? And
Yeah.
become.
Okay, so you started playing hockey at a young age.
Correct.
Did you play any other sports?
So I played a little bit of soccer, baseball when I was a kid.
It's typical hockey players, baseball. It's all the same.
Volleyball too, but
so what made you choose hockey?
It was the one probably I was excelled at the most, I found.
Okay.
Enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
And then I think my dad, just being a big hockey fan as well, I think that kind of pushed on me a little bit as well.
And it had aspirations of doing the NHL thing?
Yeah, every kid growing up, right? You want to make it to the NHL. I mean, I know the OHL draft was something I was always trying to be hopeful for, but especially when you're in grade 10 like that, you're looking to try to make the OHL and then NHL beyond, or the next step. But obviously I realized after not being drafted that kind of my.
What do you think was probably what do you think was the strongest part of your game and the weakest part of your game?
So I played defense.
Of course. the big tall guy, the big Zdeno Chara guy playing defense. Yeah.
So that's what I was kind of known for. That was my nickname, Chara.
That's funny.
And I know I did wear number 33, which I know is his number.
That's interesting. On purpose or no?
I did. After, I think it was my second year, or my midget major year, AAA. I wore 33.
Everybody gave you the nickname and you wore 33.
Chara, yeah.
Interesting.
So I think the biggest part, obviously, long reach, big body, I great poke check, took up a lot of space, block shots. That's kind of what I was maybe more known for. It's not like I would say I had a lot of high end skill or wasn't going to run a power play by any means. But in terms of a weakness, honestly, I think at the time, I look back, I was very skinny. I honestly had a huge growth spurt as I was growing up. So I didn't really fill out until probably I was 19, 20. So I can't remember my exact weight, but I was maybe around 6'3" in grade 10, about 145 pounds, 150.
Wow. Super light.
Yeah. And I mean, in comparison, I'm 6'5" now, about 220.
Yeah.
So it was harder I didn't have necessarily the strength to really
push
my way through and have that physical presence as a bigger body. But there are other attributes, like I said, long reach, stuff like that was good for me. But that was probably one of the biggest things I struggled with. And I honestly really didn't probably fill out, and like I said, till later. Yeah. But that's when
I was very similar. I mean, I honestly, so I'm not that tall. I'm just under 6 feet. I tell everyone 6 feet. I think I went away to university at 130. I was the distance swimmer, super skinny, not super tall. And in my first year of university, I put on 25 pounds. I think I just grew like crazy at the age of 18.
That was like me.
Started doing weights, started eating more, just everything. Do you think it was, for me, I always thought maybe it's because I didn't do weights, training, or I just wasn't eating enough. And once you're at university, I got a meal pass and I can just stay as long as I want and eat as much as I want. And I just kind of thickened out, but it took a long time to even learn how to operate my body in the pool after putting on 25 pounds. I'm heavier, not pulling myself the same way anymore. The technique was different. I had to learn how to do everything all over again. Do you think that was kind of similar to you?
Absolutely. I mean, it wasn't until those early years in university that I was eating more, kind of training differently. But I also think too, I look back, when I was younger too, I was just I was on the ice 3-4 days or 3-4 times a day. Yeah. And just burning energy and not eating enough. But that obviously balanced out, I think, later. And that's when I think kind of things evened out a little bit. But to your point, completely, I can relate on that end. Yeah.
Interesting. Do you ever look back and wonder, man, if I had grown earlier, maybe OHL, NHL would be a thing?
the funny thing is like, I don't want to say that, but like, I think for sure, like, I'm a much better hockey player now or
Okay.
than I was before.
Yeah.
Like if I put like in comparison, I think with me filling out a little bit more and also like, I think I just developed like skill set wise a little
Yeah.
bit better, but, coordination and all that just really,
Came along later on.
came along later on. So it's hard to say, with respect to that, if I'd
Yeah.
done that earlier, if things would be different,
Yeah.
but at the same time, if maybe I just continued with it,
Yeah.
I know like there was an opportunity to go to junior B after that. I just decided to kind of quit hockey though.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
yeah.
Because you wanted to move on with life.
That was, yeah, like it was more, after playing a year junior C, there was an opportunity to go, to play junior B. But being like an 18-year-old, just kind of what I was offered at the time. It wasn't like I would be in and out of the lineup, not playing a ton of minutes. So with that and starting university, I'm like, do I really want to make this big commitment and then start university, have a full semester? Can I manage both? I just decided to kind of pursue more of my education and play recreational hockey after that.
Nice. Okay. And so where did this, I read online, this back injury, where did this kind of come into play?
Yeah. So that's what I'm kind of known for, is the back injury, back pain, but, which is a whole different realm now. So it started, so my third year university, I just remember I got into CrossFit was a big thing.
Yeah.
This is when there was explosion of it. And, when post hockey, like my competitive stuff, playing recreational still at the time, looking for something to still do. Right. So I kind of got involved into CrossFit, but I at the time did not really know what I was doing. So this is like second year university, getting into third. So, with a lot of Olympic lifts, power lifts, wasn't lifting properly, lifting lots of weight, doing a lot of the wrong things, really pushing beyond my limits. And then just one day I threw my back out on like a deadlift just with bad form.
Jesus.
And got like a sharp pain in my back.
Yeah.
Not knowing the degree of the injury, I kept working out, training for a couple of weeks, and came to the point where it was just brutal. It got real bad. Yeah. Real quick.
I think that happens a lot of times though. Like, I mean, I got into CrossFit as well. Again, after swimming. I think even during swimming, we were even kind of like at the end of my career, we were kind of doing it a little bit. But it was so much about how much can you lift? How often can you lift it? Can you do it fast? And nobody cares. Most people, I shouldn't say nobody, most people don't care about form. They don't care about moving the actual weight itself. They just care, can you put it up and can you put it down faster than somebody else? And once your form goes out the window, like, man, you can hurt yourself badly.
100%. And, I'm a perfect example.
Yeah. Crazy. And so then is that what led you into doing a lot more of that, like 45 to 65-year-olds with back pain? And now are you trying to like get yourself out of that sort of box that people have put you in?
Yeah. So what ended up happening was like the back injury itself was somewhat of a blessing in some ways, because it opened up kind of a whole different avenue of underserviced people that I didn't realize were sustaining all these back problems. So after I had my back injury, like I was in a really bad place at the time. I dealt with kind of depression. I was on a lot of medications. I had pain to the point where I couldn't sleep at night. I remember driving to school, like I would have pain going down my leg just trying to drive to school. I'd be sitting through exams with pain. It was bad. So, and I'd been seeing multiple different physios, chiros, and people. No one that really helped me. And it was just some even gave me stuff that made me worse.
Yep.
And then I kind of just did my own rehab a little bit on that end. I learned from just doing, having obviously an HK background, knowing about the human body, doing my own research. I ended up just reading a lot of spine journals, and I came across a guy by the name Dr. Stuart McGill. And from his information, it just kind of resonated with me. He was talking about back injuries, strength and conditioning, personal training, and kind of everything that's wrong with back pain today. So from all this stuff and doing my own stuff, trial and error, I got better, improved. Took about a year and a half roughly or so till I was pain-free, and then another year to kind of work back to activity. So all in that process was then I was kind of interning a little bit and working with the Spitfires, the Raptors.
Yeah.
But from that, it carved out. So I then started an online business where I was helping people online, and people were kind of, it didn't even start that way as an online business. It just was a YouTube channel where I was sharing my backstory. And then it kind of, one person after another started commenting and sharing their stories. And I started to realize that there's something out there, you know, where there's a lot of people that are in a similar situation where it's like they've hurt themselves in a similar position to what I did, or whether it's from a different sport, and then they're doing the wrong things in the gym.
Yeah.
And so with my kind of, you know, injury prevention background as I was learning, I then, you know, started working with people online, started working with people here locally, and kind of carved out this little back pain, I guess, expertise, you would say.
Yeah.
But from that, you know, I went, I opened the gym as, you know, Ambassador Fitness, but our specialty is a little bit different. So I've kind of more went to 45 to 65 plus crowd, kind of more with general injuries, I'd say. I'm still kind of working with, you know, back pain is still my specialty. But then we have Coach Chelsea, who's the other trainer. She works more on the menopause side. So she just got a recent certification. It's a new one, menopause training. So it kind of fits our demographic. But a lot of people with back pain, you know, trying to golf or all in that.
And
so,
and are you seeing a lot of people who just haven't taken care of themselves over a long period of time that are now like, I should probably do something?
Yeah. And right now the trend that like what you're seeing is like a lot of, there's adult sport performance, I guess you would call it now, right? A lot of people playing pickleball and hurting themselves, right? So I'm starting to see more of,
everybody thinks pickleball is like this nice, soft, easy sport that anyone can do. And it's not.
100%. And you're starting to see more people come in and like, hey, like my knees are hurting. Can you put together a program for me to help me with this? So starting to see a lot more of that. And that's what we're trying to kind of cater to a little bit more. But again, like back pain is still within that domain. So I still get people that will come to see me just for back pain, but I'd say it's a little bit less of a priority or focus at this point with where the gym is at. So it's a little bit different, but I guess that's just like my you know, specific specialty on that end.
Interesting. And so what made you want to start the YouTube channel then? Was it just a place where in this like dark period of time you're, or just coming out of it, you're like, man, I was able to fix myself. And so I'm not expecting to make money from it. I just want to share a story.
So it was kind of interesting, honestly, going back to the YouTube channel. It was like, I guess there was a trend of a lot of like fitness professionals getting on to social media, mainly YouTube, and they were building out kind of their businesses that way. So I kind of wanted to aspire to be like them. And I thought the back pain thing with my story and everything, you know, I realized there wasn't a lot of information. So I thought this was a way I could differentiate myself, you know. I feel like with whether it's personal training, strength and conditioning, like you kind of have to have your own specific area, you know, to really kind of make a go out of it from business. So I thought the back pain thing was a way for me to go in and then I could kind of branch out afterwards. So that was my intention. And at the time too, like I had a couple friends that were into social media as well. And one ended up kind of getting somewhat famous through Vine and was making a lot of money that way. So it was like spitting ideas off of him at the time, which was kind of helpful, but that's where that kind of started it. And, it was early in university when I started all that.
Really?
Yeah.
And so how long did it take before you actually thought like there's an underserviced market here and there's a place for me to help people?
So the craziest thing is the first video I ever posted to YouTube was my story of lower back pain. And you know, I posted that video and then I was posting kind of weekly and then all of a sudden that video just blew up. It kind of just got a lot of views, a lot of comments, and I would respond to every comment, and then it just kept going, and then more people subscribing to the channel. And so I want to say within maybe like a 3 to 6 month ballpark, I started to notice, I'm like, hey, there's something here. And then it just kept slowly growing, like month after month, year after year. Now, I'll say, if you look at it recently, I haven't really posted much. I haven't been kind of as active, but I did it for several years through COVID and everything. And then, it's a mid-sized channel. I'd say we're 11,000 plus subscribers on it. And I was able to build a bit of an online business, and also it helped me locally get clients.
Right.
Because people would see me there. But I have close to probably 500 videos on there.
Wow.
So there's a lot of work and effort that we're put in. Not all the best or greatest quality, but
yeah, but you're gonna start somewhere.
It was a good experience. Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna just it's the same thing with, it's the same thing with any business, and HK is no different. You're not just gonna take over, lead trainer for the Raptors or the Spitfires.
Correct.
Like, you got to start somewhere. Yeah, the videos might be, super raw and, lots of editing errors because you didn't edit them or whatnot, right? But at the same time, it also gives you a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's authentic. It's you.
Yeah.
It's just what it was.
And that's the way, like you look at it, just like it was literally like a phone, and I didn't even have a microphone, and just recorded, uploaded it. And so it was interesting, but it was fun looking back at a lot of work was put into that. But
and so how long then from the time that you start this YouTube channel to the time that you start Ambassador Fitness?
So we started we're coming up on our 3rd-year anniversary now. So that's on May 2nd will be kind of the official 3rd year that we've kind of been there, moved in and everything. So if I look back, the YouTube channel was started in, I want to say 2013.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was
so like 10 years.
Yeah. I think that's, somewhere around then, 2013. Wow. It was 2 years before the Toronto Raptors thing.
Okay. So you said that you always kind of wanted to own a clinic, always kind of either wanted to do the physio or the athletic training side of things. So you finish school, you get your master's, all this kind of stuff. You're now helping people virtually online, and I'm assuming some in person at the same time.
Yeah. So the in-person stuff really started for me. So before, when I was in my 3rd and 4th year, I was working with the Spitfires there. So Joey Garland, I was interning under him. He was running kind of like a business through the gym in the off season, where he was training local NHL guys, guys from the Spits, any local kind of professional, semi-professional players. So worked with him, and then I would help out through training camp a little bit through their combine and whatnot that they do. And then kind of came back the year after, did the same thing, but this time it became like a part-time position. And then moved into the Raptors thing from that. And then we went to, and then with school and all that. So when I was in my master's, when I came back from Toronto, I was just working online with people. And then once I was done my master's, finished my research here, I worked at a local studio here, and I kind of built up my clientele, and then I had about 60 clients, and then so that was 2019, and then or 2018. Sorry, end of 2018 started that. Built up like a clientele of about 60 clients or so in that ballpark, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
So, that clientele went from 60 to say 10 real quick.
Yeah. But you already had an online presence,
which made the transition easier for me than probably most other trainers dealt with. So I transitioned as much as I could online. So I already had people training with me online, but then it was now trying to adjust these in-person clients to online. So I was able to, scavenged what I could and,
Sure.
kept it going. And it just, you had this cycle of a yo-yo in, close, open, close. Gyms had it the worst at the time.
Yeah, it was brutal. Yeah, so it's interesting you say that because firsthand experience. So I moved to Windsor in late 2017. When I was trying to build my clientele, I worked night shift at Good Life.
Okay.
Because
Nice.
I knew that people at Good Life, I could meet them. They probably were social. If I worked there, I'd get to talk to people, putting away weights and all that kind of stuff, and built a lot of great relationships, friendships, everything from there. But yeah, during COVID, like before I started Spectre with Jason, I worked at Good Life. Man, it was brutal. Like 15 people allowed in the gym at a time. You had to book online, 24 hours, everything. Like the app would only let you do it 24 hours in advance. If you weren't the first ones, you couldn't get in. Like it was terrible. Gyms had it so bad. It wasn't easy, that's for sure.
It was honestly one of the probably, like, I mean, you can speak to the restaurant industry. I'm sure others can on that, but the gym's for sure one of the toughest industries that we've, just the open, close, and it was like you couldn't get a consistent routine. And the gym is, when you're in personal training, right? It's all about habits, right? So people would come in, they'd get in the habit, and then they'd be off, and then it's just like pulling teeth to kind of get them back in. It's hard. And then people were afraid to go to the gym because of getting COVID and whatnot, and they didn't want to wear masks or be in the gym environment. So there was a lot going on at that time, and then even they had the vaccine passport stuff. So it was like, there was a lot of like just technicality stuff to work around, which made it very difficult, but got through it and ended up opening Ambassador shortly after. But
I was going to say, so during that whole time, you're online, you're no longer teaching in person. Was it like, okay, now I'm actually going to like, whenever we get through this period of time, I'm going to go open my own place? Was this kind of like a catalyst to be like, I'm going to start my thing?
Yeah, like in my mind, yes, but like I wasn't ready for it. So
how come you say that?
I didn't know how to run, say, a gym. There's a difference between being a personal trainer and operating as like a self-employed individual and just, being a good coach, handling everything that way. But it's a whole different aspect of like, you have now more responsibility from a gym owner's perspective in terms of lease, negotiating with the landlord and
cleanliness, staff,
insurance is different, cleanliness,
everything.
You have staff to hire, manage, and there's a lot more responsibility and it's just a whole different avenue. Right. So I was not ready by any means. But it was in the back of my mind where it's like, this could be a possibility. So I think what ended up, if I recall what happened, is when COVID happened, the studio I was at, I ended up leaving kind of halfway through. They went in a different direction with their business model, which didn't really work for my situation. And so we kind of went separate ways, like no hard feelings by any means. It was just
time.
Yeah, it was just time. And we had different opinions on the direction of the business. So I went to a different place I probably now, the peak of things was 60 members, I'm probably at 25, 30, right?
Okay.
For myself that I'm working with, plus online people. I had went to a different place, which was Limitless Training Center. And Paul, who's an amazing guy, I worked with him there. And then he just kind of closed the business after about a year and a half. So that was kind of my take to now go run my own gym and open Ambassador.
Yeah. And so in that process then, you said his name was Paul?
Paul, yeah.
So did Paul then, did you actually like take some time with him to learn like how to run a gym? Or before you're like, I don't have any of this experience, I'm not sure I'm ready.
Yeah.
To a year and a half later, you're like, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
But like, other than attitude of I'm just going to go do this thing, opening a gym and taking on all this responsibility, did he teach you how to run a gym? Or you just thought, you know what, now I'm ready for it and I'm just going to take the chance?
It was a little bit different because I would honestly say my experience before Paul was more of when I was at, so the other place I was JS Fitness. When I was working with Jonathan, I kind of initially learned a lot from him and kind of running the systems. So when I went with Paul, the business model was a little bit different, where it was multiple trainers, one gym, leasing space. So everyone is kind of running their own kind of system to a degree. But from Paul's perspective, like I had a lot of questions, like, you know, like I learned from him in terms of like more of like how he dealt with, I didn't know about paying utilities and all this sort of stuff, right? Like insurance, and like he had the responsibility of that. So from that, and then even on the marketing side a little bit, like learned from him. So between him and Jonathan, like I learned a lot from both those guys. So from those experiences, obviously, that kind of helped me move into, or at least open ambassador.
Yeah.
From that.
And I joked earlier when you showed up, coming up on 3 years, you know, the stats like 90% of businesses fail within the first 3 years, right? They either can't sell their product enough, you know, they don't have big enough profit margins, they can't stay open. Obviously, you're hitting that 3-year mark. How's the business going? Good, profitable, obviously still wanting to grow.
Yeah. So right now, honestly, it's been crazy. Like we're as busy as can be, I'd say, at this point, which is awesome. So when we started, we probably had about 30-ish members. So it was just me and Chelsea. We were the two trainers. So we were both at Limitless there, and we came over. And from that point, you know, we're now at probably around 100 members.
Wow.
So within 3 years, kind of split between us.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think we're close to our threshold to a degree in terms of what our bandwidth can handle from a training perspective and coaching perspective. We're close at least.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think for what we've done has been incredible for 3 years. You know,
yeah,
we've got an amazing setup and everything, and couldn't be more happy with where we're at this point.
And so what's sort of the next thing for you guys? What's the next goal? What do you know, I'm assuming you did a 5-year lease. You got probably 2 years left.
So right now we have 1 more year on our lease, actually.
Okay.
But the landlord is amazing.
Yeah. But the space isn't big enough though to grow. Are you guys wanting to grow more?
No.
Oh, okay.
So yes, the space is big enough. So to take it on a different side here, I don't want the gym to kind of get bigger than, say, well, here's the issue, right? So in the industry, right, like there's different models and that fit for each space. So with what we run, semi-private personal training, which is our main model, we kind of work with that adult population, right? More like 45, 65 range, you could say. The sweet spot seems to be somewhere between 1,200 to 2,000 square feet.
Okay.
So we're probably at around 1,500.
Okay.
So that fits what our model allows. Now, yeah, you can make the argument, hey, we can get a bigger space and train more people, but then we have to get more trainers in there too. I think we still have room for a little bit of growth in our current setup, but that would probably involve hiring at least a part-time trainer, or at least me kind of cutting my hours back and having that person go full-time. And then we could maybe take somewhere between another 20 to 40 members in that ballpark.
Okay.
That would cap the space. I wouldn't want to go any bigger than that, because then I think it gets, I can't remember, but it's Dunbar's number, which is like if you have, I think it's 150 in terms of relationships that you're, you know, that's what kind of, I wanted to make it your local neighborhood gym. So I'm not trying to make it bigger than it is.
Yeah.
I love the space. We have an amazing landlord. She trains with us.
Cool.
She's a chiropractor upstairs.
Yeah.
So we have referrals both ways. Great location. So I'm very happy with it. So honestly, I think we have a little bit of room for a little bit of growth, but I think we're getting to the point where it's like, let's just make sure we handle that properly, or we'll see what that looks like.
So no big, like, giant aspirations to make a second location or anything like that right now?
like,
you think you will?
Listen, I would not rule that out.
Sure.
That would be maybe, if anything, down the road, like say 5-10 years,
Sure.
if anything. But I think what I would prefer to do is expand into a different business, which I recently got into in real estate.
Oh,
So I own a fourplex.
cool.
So learning to kind of be like a small landlord.
Yeah.
Purchased this, what are we now? Almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I live in one unit and then have the other 3 rented out.
Yeah.
So that is kind of a little bit more my intention, is just to kind of look into different businesses.
Use that business, which
Correct.
you love and enjoy,
Correct.
to allow yourself the ability to do other things.
Correct.
Neat. Okay.
So yeah, as opposed to opening.
And so do you have other than, opposed to opening other gyms then, what are the goals for you then personally? Like, want to own more units? Like, where's sort of your thought process in terms of that side of things?
So, and I'm fortunate because my dad and uncle, were kind of more a little bit in real estate. So this is kind of where I've kind of learned a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would like to at least own another property or 2, probably 2.
Okay.
But we're a little bit ways from that. But
Sure.
I think expanding the portfolio a little bit on that end would be definitely something I would be more interested in. It's a little bit more passive. It's not as hands-on as, say, the gym.
Yeah.
So, but I'm learning as I go, right? It's been an interesting experience being a landlord.
Yeah, I mean, you seem to be this kind of person that like you come up with this idea to do something and you just go all in and you learn just by doing, right? Like your back injury was that way, running the business was that way. Like you just seem to be like, okay, I'm going to go this direction and I'm just going to go all in on learning what it takes to do this thing.
That's usually been my mindset. Yeah.
And where'd you get that mindset from?
That's a good question. I want to say my parents inherited, but but I don't know. I think I've always been like self-motivated to do things, and I'm not exactly sure where that comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe being an only child. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I definitely know within the family, like there's entrepreneurial genes there. Yeah. Between grandfather and some other family members as well. So having their own businesses. So I think just some of that has trickled in a little bit. Yeah. And I guess it's just my personality. I guess I don't know. Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Well, we're running out of time here. Anything you want to tell anybody about where they can find you, what you guys are doing, anything like that about the gym and anything like that? You want to tell anybody who's listening, anything more about yourself and what they can expect from you guys? Yeah, I mean, so right now we're coming up on our 3rd-year anniversary, which is going to be May 2nd, 2026 here. So it's going to be we're having an anniversary party. Oh, cool. And it's an open house style, so we're doing it a little bit differently this time around. And anyone is welcome to come. So come out for some giveaways, prizes, games, coffee. It'll be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Okay. It'll be a little fun experience if you're just interested about what we do, what we offer, and want to meet myself or Coach Chelsea or see what the whole gym's about and see our other members. It'll be a great time, I promise you. So if you're listening to this and want to come out, check us out. Maybe you're interested in some personal training or like looking to work around some back pain or have something you want to work on, feel free to pop on in. We'd love to have you out. And what did you say that was May 2nd? So Saturday, May 2nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Ambassador Fitness. And we're located right on Walker Road, 3774. So just between the expressway and kind of the airport there. Oh, okay. Oh, got it. Cool. Yeah. I mean, listen, that sounds like a fun event. I mean, the gym that I was working out of, that's kind of how I met with them. Was it just like this open house? And I was like, you know what? What's this new gym? I'm going to go check this out. Like, so maybe I'll stop by. Love to have you. Sounds like a fun place. So, well, we always end every podcast the same way. I didn't prep you for this. But what does success mean to Remi?
Oh, that's a good question, honestly. Just like a full response or like,
Yeah,
one
whatever
word?
you want, man.
Honestly, I think success to me would mean like, um, hmm, giving back to, making the community better and making the world, I guess, our local community a better place as we can. And, I'm grateful for the point that I'm at and the success that I've had. And I'd like to keep building that. But I also want to give back to those that maybe are in need or need help. And if we can make everyone just a better place and make everything better here, I think that would be, a success to me, and what success would at least mean to me.
Yeah.
The better we can make our community.
Yeah.
And for all of us to succeed.
Yeah. It's a great answer.
So,
I mean, that's, once you have some amazing things in your own life, being able to give those to other people, it's a cool feeling. It's great to be able to give back. So
100%. Yeah.
I'm with you there. So, well, Remi, listen, I appreciate the time. I know this was a little bit, short notice to come out here and do this. We were going to do coffee, and I was like, you know what, let's change. So I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. Tell us a little bit about the gym, what you're doing, what you got going on. Obviously, everybody can find you Saturday, May 2nd.
Saturday, May 2nd, yes.
11 to 2.
Yep.
Open house. But yeah, I appreciate your time. Thanks for chatting with us today.
I appreciate it, Sean. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. All right, everybody, that's another episode of Cracking the Success Vault here with Spectre Group and our guest, Remi Sovran from Ambassador Fitness. Again, Remi, thanks for taking the time out of your day.
Thank you.